Hey there, listeners. We've got another episode of a Sex Talk coming your way today. Today, I have a decently long-time friend of mine, Ramsey, here. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit.
Hi, so my name is Ramsey. I am a 25-year-old, as we've established earlier, mechanical engineering graduate. I am a maker, creator, science advocate, very sex-positive person, I guess, which is important because this is a sex-positive podcast.
Well, you don't have to be sex positive.
I'm sex-negative.
Yeah, see, I'm down to have a podcast conversation with somebody like that. Like, I would love to get one of those... you know those dudes that stand on Dixon Street with the fucking signs and shit that say,
repent,
if
repent.
if you're anybody, you're going to hell. I want to have a conversation with them. I would love to. Or like an Amish woman. I think that would be hella fun.
I mean,
but
honestly,
also,
even like a priest or someone.
yeah. But like, I want to just talk to everybody about it.
Well, it's good because it's such a wide topic with so many different opinions, and it's a universally known topic.
Which is why I picked it for a podcast.
Which is great. A lot of material.
So then let's get into it a little bit, and I'm going to start it off like I start off all of my podcasts. What's the wildest thing you've ever done?
Oh God! So I have a lot of sex stories. I'm a whore.
Same.
Which, Mom, if you're listening to this, I don't give a fuck. You know I don't care. I'm very open, which is not great for a lot of reasons. But the craziest sex thing, which, as I told Taffy prior to this recording, would be the story that makes me, I don't know how to say it. It's the reason why I like aloe vera juice. Those like aloe vera bottles that they sell with like little chunks of aloe vera floating in it.
I've never tried them because I can't imagine it tastes good.
They're refreshing.
Does it taste good? There's a difference between it being refreshing and tasting good, because I can go drink a bottle of Sam's Choice water and that's good. Refreshing, but that tastes like shit.
That's true. I think it tastes good. I think it tastes good and refreshing. The chunks in it, which sounds terrible to say in any regard.
Not really.
Involving
I mean,
a liquid.
boba tea. That's got chunks in it.
Listen, see, exact same. Answer my own question.
Like, it's just fucking boba tea, but square.
Sometimes it's in chunks. Anyways, so to back it up, I was in Texas. I think this was 2016 or 2015. I don't know how old I was then. Do the math. And I was staying with my grandmother. And my dad and my stepdad and my mom and my grandfather and my sister and I all under one roof. So there really wasn't a lot of places to like sleep or be. But me being a very young and queer kid, I was on Grindr looking for someone to fuck when everyone went to bed. Because, I mean, honestly, like you're in Texas, I'm like, yeehaw, cowboy, giddy up. And so I was, so let's saddle up. Anyway, so I was looking at someone, and I met this incredibly hot, attractive guy. I think he was like 28 at the time, and I was talking to him, and he was a physical therapist, did massage work, incredibly muscular, gorgeous, attractive, and I was like, "Ooh, you down?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm down, whatever." And so, I had to keep pushing it back because my family stays up late because we all have a terrible sleep schedule.
Yeah.
And he asked me, he was like, "Hey, when can you come over?" And I was like, maybe like 4:30 a.m. He's like, "Great, my roommate leaves at that time." And I was like, "Okay, this will work out." So I wait for everyone in the late night schedule to go to bed, and I start sneaking out. Of course, a dog starts barking. That my mom's dogs that were down there starts barking as I'm leaving the house, trying to be as clandestine as possible, and I'm like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I get out, I close the door, I go to this dude's house. Now there's a caveat to this story, which is where he was like, I actually have a role play scenario. And I'm like, listen, you're hot, let's do it. I'm down for a lot. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And he's like, okay, so I have a thing about a neighbor getting locked out. And I was like, all right, I'll summon whatever Juilliard training I have to do that. and so he's like, but you need to come into my back bedroom, like window, that is through the backyard. And so I'm like, God damn it, I'm in Texas.
This is a lot of
I
work.
said, I'm about to walk into a stranger's backyard, knock on their window at 4 a.m., and hopefully it's this man I want to fuck. And in retrospect, terrible idea. I texted like 2 people. I'm like, hey, if I don't answer in like an hour, I'm probably dead. Like, I expect to get hate crimed in Texas in general. But like, I was like, you know, it's fine. It's my time. My time has come, so to speak.
You were like 20 when this happened.
It's fine. Well, listen, mortality's never been my strong suit. But, anyways, so I pull up to his house, I go to the address, I see someone pulling out of the driveway, and I'm like, oh, this is it. That's the roommate. I was like, okay, so it is this house for sure, I know it. And I get out of my car and I walk across the street, because I don't park at the house at all. Like, obviously, I don't want anyone to see my car.
normal ass person.
I'm crazy. And so I like go across the way, and I think this is his backyard. I'm going through, and I just see a closed window, and I'm like, oh, fuck. This sucks. And I'm like, all right, how horny are you? Knock, knock, knock. And I knock on the window, and he opens it up, and it's him. Thankfully, fucking it's him. And he's like,
see, so I'm positive real quick there.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I go to a new person's house or like apartment or something, I'm always absolutely 100% terrified that I'm gonna knock on the wrong person's door and I'm gonna have to have a conversation.
I've done it.
See,
It's awful.
I've never done it once in my life, so I don't know why I'm worried about it, but it's just something that scares the absolute shit out of me, that I can be like, knock, 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 and some old-ass white lady comes out, and she's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm just coming to fuck somebody. I'm sorry, this looks like the wrong house.
I was about to say, it's not terrible, because really what happens is you knock on the door, and someone answers, you don't know who it is, and sometimes people have precarious roommate situations or whatever, so I'm, I have to go like, hey, do you know Daddy Dom 26? I think it goes by Gerald. Like, it's not great. I usually just make up an excuse like, oops, sorry, wrong house, and then I leave like a flustered school.
4 in the morning, I'm just here to suck Girl Scout cookies. Back to your story.
So he opens up the window and he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh, I lost my key. I can't get into my apartment. Can I sleep here tonight? And and he's just like, yeah, whatever. And it's like the cheesy, like, it sucked. And I was like, but I was like so out of it from being in a stranger's backyard in the middle of Texas at 4:30 in the morning to fuck. So I was like already off my game, which isn't really there to begin with. So the next issue or hurdle in this story is the fact that he wanted me to climb through a window that was shoulder height.
Yeah, no,
First
that's
of all,
not worth it.
And second of all, it was only like 1.5 feet of a difference. Like there was no room. And so just imagining the sexy vision of me trying to go like, oh, I lost my key. Oh, I have to get up in here. Please, someone let me in. And I'm just like clawing in like a fucking, like I'm some sort of like shadow creature in your sleep paralysis, just lurching overneath. Let me in. I wanna fuck. And so, it's like, oh, I gotta, oops. And then like me literally just stumbling and falling on the ground. So it was a mess. Sex was fantastic. Sex was fantastic.
Okay,
like,
good.
and he was like, hey, how long are you gonna be in town? I'll give you a massage for free. And I was like, oh, I'm leaving tomorrow. Fuck. Oh, he was such a nice guy too. So I'm bummed that I never got his actual contact information, but at the same time, I think that makes the story exciting.
What does this have to do with aloe vera?
Oh, fuck! Yeah, I fucking forgot the rest of it. I'm like, ooh, got off scot-clean and got off scot-clean. And no one knew that I left. I don't know.
Okay.
Phrases.
Whatever, go.
Things.
Continue.
Places, nouns, verbs. So I go back to my apartment, but I stop at the 7-Eleven at first because I'm like, ooh, baby needs a drink. And so I like get that shitty aloe vera drinks I saw, and I was like, someone said this was good once. And I was like, you know what? It's a night of firsts, huh? And so I grab an aloe vera drink, pay for it, go on my way, and I go back home. Well, the problem is that I forgot everyone else's schedule in the house. My grandfather was getting up for work. So as I'm pulling in and trying to sneak around the house, I see that he's awake, and I'm like, there's no fuck. I am asleep from like 2 a.m. to like 2 p.m. Like, there's no in between. And so I was like, oh, fuck. And
I
he
miss those days.
saw me, and I like turned around, which I'm like, it was like in my early 20s, like fucking sneaking around like a kid, and very, very conservative still too. Like they obviously not a big fan of the sucking dick part. And so, and it was just so funny because he came out because he was going to work, and he's like, "Oh, why are you out here?" And I was like, and I looked down at my aloe vera drink, and I was like, "I was thirsty, so I went to the gas station." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Enough!" No one knew. And I was like, no one knew that I was gone. I told my sister later, I was like, I fucked someone, and I gotta tell you a story. But yeah, that was not my wildest, but that's one of my favorite that comes to mind.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what does any of this have to... I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, so he told me to, like, luge the aloe vera juice down my cock into his mouth or something.
He looked at me and he said, you know how they compare things to a Pepsi can? And he brings out an aloe vera bottle.
Well, this is what my dick looks like.
Yeah, well,
chunky.
Oh, Jesus. Not an adjective to describe a cock. I really liked his dick. It was very chunky.
Okay. So, well, speaking on the role-playing part, like, that's something I've kind of wanted to get into a little bit, because, like, me being a theater major, that just seems right up my fucking alley.
Absolutely. Like, I assume all theater majors are into role-play.
No.
And basically everything that a band kid would be into, too.
No, the band kids are more fun. Theater kids suck ass half the time.
Hey! Oh, you meant...
What?
Metaphorically.
Yeah, the people in theater at the University of Arkansas suck ass.
Honestly, yeah.
But it, like, I've done one thing of roleplay, and it was pretty recently. So, yeah, I kind of just got into it. I went over to this girl's place. She, is a quote-unquote virgin, doesn't matter, but, like, she's not had sex with anybody, so we weren't going to have, like, sexual
Like, not
intercourse.
penetrative sex?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So we weren't gonna, we didn't do any of that, but we both wanted to play around with the idea of it,
mm-hmm.
and so we both wanted to, like, try a fantasy and whatnot. We kind of picked just a really basic one where we were just, we did the step-siblings one.
Oh, yeah, Brother, I'm stuck.
Well, it was more so like, God, what did we do? It was really shitty, like, because I couldn't take it too seriously because it was my first time doing it.
I think that's the worst, is when you can't take it seriously.
Because, like, me being a theater major, I should be able to get into it, but also, she wasn't someone who was experienced nor where we're going to have, like, penetrative sex, so I was just like, okay, I'm getting... head. This will be, like, fun, but, like, I can't go fully immersed into it. And it wasn't bad, but it was a little...
Alabama family reunion.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But now, I just got it in today. I got a sexy French maid outfit in.
I saw that.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're gonna love this.
I have feelings about the maid outfit.
I'm wearing it to Dixon Street soon.
Oh, that'll be good. I'll show you my mask later.
But so I have a couple of people hopefully gonna do it, but I want to go over to some girl's house and be like, oh, good, you're here. Get to work cleaning that shit. And then I just, like, pretend to clean some shit, and they're like, you really fucking suck at your job. I need you to eat me out or something like that to make up for it.
See, you don't have to act if you're just regularly angry all the time. And you want yeah, that's easy. Method acting, really.
Yeah, so I want to do that. I want to play around with the French maid outfit. But I want to do, like, other role-playing stuff. It just sounds fun. It's just finding somebody that can get into it as much as you want to / need to for it to be legitimate.
I think that's the biggest thing, is matching your partner's levels, which is very true in many circumstances.
But for me, it's just hard because I'm a theater major who's trained in acting.
Yeah, it's hard.
So, like, I'm trying to get it hard, but if I can't get into the role, then what am I doing?
Your role as step-sibling number 1 is just, you're just not feeling it enough.
I need more emotion.
So, my opinion on the whole roleplay thing, and there's a lot of people in, like, some very, like, heavier, kinkier communities that are just, like, do, like, scene playing. Like, they do, like, scenes.
Yeah.
So, And I just, personally, I don't think I could ever get into that level of immersed. I've been close to it. Because you know the sex haze, the sex fog. When you're in sex and you're just kind of like, when people are more likely to do things during sex than they would if you proposed it before. It's like the sex fog where you're like, okay, and you're just kind of like on blinders on.
Oh, okay, then I know what you're getting, because I'm at that point, I'm like, if I was in a group situation right now, and there was just a penis, I wouldn't say no to it. But, like, otherwise, I don't have any interest in penis.
Yeah, and my opinion on group stuff is, like, I can't ever be in, like, one where someone's like, oh, well, you and I won't, like, fuck, but, like, we'll fuck one person. Like, I can't do that because, like, I'm in, like, an equal opportunity employer kind of thing. Like, I like to make sure everyone's happy. I'm basically the HR of a sex group.
See, for me, the more the merrier, because then it's just easier, and you don't have to necessarily worry about getting everybody to feel good, because you can rely on other people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, in just, like, a general threesome sense, I've done both. I've had, guy, girl, girl, guy. Me being a generally straight dude, much prefer the girl, guy, because it's really fun, and I get to just drown in pussy. I've legitimately almost drowned. I had to throw a bitch off of me once because she wouldn't get off and I couldn't breathe. It was great. I was like, if this is how I go.
Listen, if you can't breathe, that's your problem. You gotta, honestly, you gotta figure something out.
Look.
Put a straw.
Look, it was worth it, bro.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I agree.
I've done a couple of guy, girl ones, and I don't mind them. They're not bad. It's just finding the right dudes. Normally, because, like, if I did it with my bros, it wouldn't be a problem. I haven't done it with them yet. But the only one
Offer's still open.
Yeah. Well, I've done two. One was with a dude and his wife and their friend. And we were both going off on the wife, and then he went over to the friend, and it was just me and the wife. And I was like, cool, that works. And then another one was with one of my friends from last year at the dorms and this girl from Tinder. And it just didn't go well because the dude wasn't super into it, and I'm like, why did you say you wanted to do it? Like, you're the defining piece.
I think that's my biggest hang up is it's like, oh, I almost ruined a marriage once. I think I did, actually. I don't know.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It was a sex thing, so it's another 4 a.m. horny sex thing. The best horny stories come from 4 a.m.
I've never had
I've had a lot of 4. Yeah, that's fair. But I feel like that's more lumped in with a bar story.
Yeah, see, that's mine are bar stories, because I'm not up if I'm banned from Tinder now, so I can't get those.
But, I believe it.
Yeah.
But there was a guy that, he invited me over, and I didn't know that he was married, which I don't really care. Like, if someone, like, I'm personally not, like, polyamorous, but, like, when it comes to, like, sex stuff, I don't care.
Yeah.
People's fine. And if they're fine with it, as long as everyone's comfortable, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so, he invited me over, and he was like, oh, my husband would like to join. I was like, that's fine. And I was like, is he cool? Is he good with it? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Went over there, his husband was, like, basically, like, in bed, like, trying to sleep. And then he was like, all right, let's get into it. In the same bed with his, like, kind of sleeping husband. And it was just the most awkward thing. And then he, like, kind of got into it. But his husband was focusing on me so much more than... Or the guy was focusing on me more than his husband was. Than he was focusing on his husband. Which I'm also like, I don't like that. I'm personally not a big fan of everyone focusing on one person.
Well, so...
Sometimes, yes.
I was going to say... If you're bringing that person in specifically to be focused on, then yeah, fuck it.
That's fair. But, I mean, unless that's stated beforehand, I usually try and make sure that everyone's, like, working on the project.
Because I was going to say, if I have a significant other and we bring another person in, like, I imagine I would generally be more focused on the person we brought in. Because, like, I'm going to see my significant other in the morning.
That's very true.
So it's like...
But it ended in an argument. Like, one of them yelled at another one. Oh. And I was just, like, lying in bed, like, fully nude, just like, all right, this is not great. And just, like, them having, like, an argument. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, would you want to stay? And I was like, oh, to cuddle in this bed with you two? Yeah, absolutely. And then, like, I, like, immediately, like, 10 minutes later was like, all right, gotta get up, gotta go. Like, oof. They were arguing when I left, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, God. So, are you mostly, like, interested in men then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lean, well, masculine usually is what my preference is.
Okay.
But I mean, it's obviously very nuanced, and sexuality is a weird fucking thing, especially being like genderqueer and gender nonconforming as I am. So it's like, I just lean more towards masculine presences. Generally more dominant people, if not, doesn't really bother me. I've been with submissive people too, like that's fine also. Like I'm very equal opportunity. And like if I'm in a sex situation where they're like, there's a woman, I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
See, that's my like I'm just so used to being the dominant person because I am a straight identified dude.
DDLG. You're DD in the DDLG, sorry.
Oh, I was like, I don't have that.
I was like DDLG and I was like, wait, there's letters in here.
I was like, that's daddy dom little girl. I haven't done that yet. But no, like just generally in like terms of it, like the women aren't gonna be the ones like bossing the dude around in the situation, and I hate that. I hate it so much. I just want to be a sub. I just want to be a fucking sub, but I can't find anybody to sub me that's anywhere near my age. They have to be older, and those ones already have people.
Everyone needs to sub at some point.
Yes.
Just because it's like being the little spoon. Like even if you have someone who's super like, dominant or top or masculine or whatever kind of energy that you want to put in that position, they need love too. They need to be taken care of. And
I just want to find a girl that'll be like, no, you're mine, and then I'm just like, yes, ma'am. Okay, cool,
I
great.
think that's good because it's more. I think it's more balanced that way. I think when it's on one person more than the other, to always be like the dominant one who's doing all the taking care of, and the other one not necessarily not doing anything. Like submissives do a lot. Like our constitution was built on bottoms, and it's just one of those things where it's like I feel like if you don't trade off, and I'm not a big fan of absolute tops or bottoms or anything, just as a versatile person that I am, but if you don't have that kind of like. It's every now and then you just get a hug. You get to be taken care of, and I think that's important in the dynamic.
Yeah, because like I'm very much a switch in the situation. I go both ways when it comes to doming and subbing. Mm-hmm. But my problem is I can't be an aggressive dom. Like I can't be the dude that's like, oh no, you're fucking mine. Like, and then just is like I can't dirty talk at all. It's the weirdest fucking thing for me. Cannot do it.
I don't blame you. No, it's a hit or a miss with dirty talk, and there's a lot of people who do dirty talk and they're bad at it, and it's like you just deal with it.
It's like I'm going at it with someone, and I'm just like, do you really want me to like yell in your ear? You want my fucking dick, bitch, or something like that? I'm like, no. Let me just like softly moan and just like, because my other biggest thing is in sex. I love to just have a conversation.
I hate that. I was about to bring that up. I
love to just talk about my day while I'm railing the shit out of a girl that I'm talking to. Or like, just watch TV together and just pound them. Or have them on top of me. I love it.
One of the funniest things that I've noticed that people do sometimes is that they'll fish for compliments during sex, and that fucking gets me every time, and it always throws me out of it. So it's like someone will be. So I would like to like claim myself as a decently attractive person.
I will second that.
Thank you. And so like I'll be in sex. I don't like complimenting people during sex for the most part. Sometimes it depends, but like they'll be like, "Ooh, you're so hot," and I'm like, "Thank you," and they'll like wait for a compliment back, like a "Oh, you too," or like, "Ooh, you're so sexy." Like, I don't ever get into that, and so it's always like they're like, "Oh, you're attractive, you're hot," you're like, and I'm like, and then it's like they like wait for me to say something, and I'm like, "You're
a person.
You have a great personality." Like it's just like.
See, so I hate getting compliments in general because like I know I'm a relatively attractive person in general, but I don't believe it. I believe it's a facade that someone made up somehow, and it's just kind of stuck with me.
Confidence is key, baby.
I have a lot of confidence, just not in my looks.
That's fair. I mean, yeah.
But I know that I'm a good-looking person. I just don't have confidence in knowing that I'm a good-looking, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. So it's a weird dissonance between how people perceive you and you perceive yourself.
So it's like some girls are like, yeah, you're like really hot or something like that. I'm like, no, who the fuck is paying you to say this? Stop.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like. It's almost like, okay, you're saying this, but it doesn't feel genuine because I don't believe it.
Yeah, but it's one of those situations where, like, if I'm with a girl, I don't I feel weird complimenting them like entirely. I don't like saying somebody is hot because it just feels demeaning to me. Unless I'm like with the bros, and then it's already just demeaning in general because I'm friends with a bunch of cis hetero white dudes who grew up in Springdale.
I'm so sorry. We all have crosses we got.
They're my best friends. I can't do anything about it. I've tried, but like generally, if I'm with a girl and I'm dating, like, or if I'm dating somebody or like legitimately talking to someone, I'll never say they're hot. It feels so inconsiderate and rude to me to be like, "Hey, you look really hot today." I would much rather be like, "You look fucking pretty as hell," or just like, "You look so cute today." Like, cute just seems so much better. Mm-hmm. But I get that some people really hate that, and then that can be demeaning. So, like, generally in sex, I refer to body parts.
I was about to say, if you segment it, it sounds more genuine. Yeah. It sounds more directed.
Because, like, also,
saying, like,
I'm
so sexy. Like, okay, which part?
Well, because also it's just like, I'm a straight white dude. The white has nothing to do with it. Sorry about that. I'm just a straight dude.
Does it?
I don't know.
Wink.
I'm just like, your tits are fucking sexy. I love tits.
Damn,
I don't care
who
they are.
Damn, your tits are sexy. That's a Valentine's Day card right there.
Well, because, like, they'll just be on top, and I'm like, I fucking love your tits, and then I'll just bite them, and it's great.
You're like, who made these?
I'm like, your parents did a good job at these ones. Because, like, ass is fine. Ass is cool.
Oh, let's not have the disagreement. Ass over titties all the day.
Mm-mm.
And I know I'm very queer men masculine, but like as in preferences, but like ass over titties.
Look, I've eaten ass a few times in my life. I don't hate it. But there's nothing better in the world than sucking on a good pair of nipples.
I agree.
But the problem is I think that I like that because I have a mommy kink.
That, goo goo gaga.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I would absolutely love it if I could find a woman who was breastfeeding. Because I want to know what milk tastes like.
It's so sweet. Breast milk tastes so sweet.
I don't want to get into that beginning part where there's all the colostrum and all the like weird shit that makes it not weird in like a bad way.
You
but
want
weird to me.
You want the horny part of the breastfeeding. the part that makes mothers cover their babies' heads in fear.
No, I want the part of the breastfeeding where it's just regular ass milk because the baby doesn't need all the protective antibodies that make the milk yellow or green.
What you do is you have the baby on first, you hot swap it, throw the baby in another room, doesn't matter what happened to it.
Well, also, I would love to just be there while the girl just like squirts me with her milk because I think that would be hella fun.
My mom used to do that. She used
to... wait, what?
When my mom, I think it was whenever she was pregnant with me or my sister, but she used to freak people out by squirting breast milk into her coffee. And I think that's just so fucking funny.
Oh my god, if I ever have a kid, my significant other that does that better fucking do that. Like, hey babe, I need some creamer, and just whip out a titty, just...
I would vomit.
I would cry. I would love it. Look, I've had my tongue in someone's asshole before, that's nothing. Oh, yeah. I don't care. I like sucking toes. I don't fucking care.
Do you know why people are attracted to feet, right?
No.
So it's actually a very funny, like, scientific thing.
Oh, great.
So the part of your brain that stores information about the genitals is actually located relatively close to the location of your brain that stores information about the feet. And sometimes neurons crossfire, and you find like that the arousal is not necessarily just the genitals, but the feet.
Weird.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's.
Well, we learned something today, guys.
I have a lot of facts.
Well, so the thing with me though is like I'm not sexually attracted to feet in any way. Like I don't get like I'm not looking at a pair of feet and being like
you're not like jerking it to Birkenstocks.
Yeah, I don't have a foot fetish. Now, like a girl wearing a nice pair of like long socks makes all the difference in the world.
But I feel like that's like a part being able to like sexualize.
That's
like
a clothing
be attracted
item
to a part of someone.
Yeah, that's a clothing item, not a foot. Mm-hmm. But I like sucking toes because it feels cool, and generally the girl likes it too, and that's my biggest thing.
I'm not.
Now, if someone doesn't like it, I'm not gonna do it to them. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm always like, hey, I like sucking toes.
Get a little piggly wiggly back in the...
Exactly.
I'm not a foot person. I'm okay with someone who is, and I'll indulge a lot of stuff. Like
I'll never let somebody suck my toes. But that's because I need a pedicure really badly, and I've got hairy knuckles.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a little insecure about my toes just in general. Plus, 2 years ago, whenever I moved into this apartment, I dropped a piece of furniture on my big toe on my right foot, and it fucked up half my toenail. So like, it's a little deformed. So it's not great look. It's not like an aesthetically pleasing toe, and so I'm like, well, my career in foot pics is over.
Yeah, it's not inherently sexual to me, but, like, my thing is like, if a girl was like, I just really want to suck your toes, my brain would instantly be like...
Why not?
No. My brain would be like, what happened in your life to want to suck my toes?
I know what happened to me to make me want to suck your toes, but I don't...
Exactly.
That means you're as fucked up or worse than I am. We can't have that. Which, honestly...
In the great words of John Mulaney, I was over there sitting on the bench!
Yeah.
Well, then let's open it up. Do you have any questions specifically for me, or just anything along those lines?
Not questions per se, but I was actually going to talk about, because like I said earlier, I do a lot of maker community, engineering, science, tech bullshit, and I was going to talk to you a little bit about butt plugs.
Ooh.
Remote control butt plugs.
Oh.
And how they're... Yeah, cyber attacks and remote control butt plugs, which is such a weird fucking thing.
That sounds like a fun idea. Well, because Lovense makes a butt plug that I'm getting pretty soon.
This is, I think, the one of the talks that I watched, which it was Smia on DEF CON 27. Yeah, it was last year. It was on Teledildonics, as it's called. And he actually took apart a Lovense butt plug and then talked about how to basically exploit some of the security hacks in it. So it's like...
But okay, then, so you're hacking a butt plug. What does that do? Does it just... Do you just
do a lot of stuff.
Do you just generally make it vibrate uncontrollably? Can you make it explode in someone's ass?
So the first thing...
if that's a thing, then I'm fucking game.
So the first thing that I was going to say is that you would think, like, hacking a butt plug, wouldn't that be like sexual assault, right? That's like uncharted territory where someone has control over it whom you do not consent to. And
yeah, that would definitely be...
But so
there's also a different, like, that's if they turn it on and it starts vibrating. If they're just getting in there to get information or something somehow,
and you can it's
wild.
wild. So there's a couple of different problems. Is that if you can't really, like, I guess this is the wrong word, sniffing for a butt plug on the radio frequency. Like you can't really like that's not something that people would do. If you found it, you could probably do it, but you'd have to really, like, ascertain a target first.
Yeah.
So you have
You're
to
just
either
in
have
New
a
York,
target,
just looking for them. There's like, there's 12 in your area.
There's 12 in this Starbucks right now. There's 11 people in here. And so it's one of those things where you have to have a target, and you can do it, like, remotely. So, like, people do, like, chatterbait stuff, like Dings or whatever, whenever people donate the coins.
Oh, no.
Like, you could have people that exploit it that way. So...
yeah, because that's connected to the Wi-Fi, and that's already a security risk.
Yeah, which it's funny because... like, you could actually even talk about reverse hacking a butt plug. So, like, your butt plug is the malicious thing. So it's broadcasting bad Bluetooth data, or basically to everything on the same, like, Bluetooth area as it trying to connect and give it bad information, or do, like, Stack Overflow.
You turn your butt plug into a virus?
Yes, it is. You can put that into essentially malware. And you can even do, like, a butt plug ransomware. So it's like, we're not going to vibrate until you pay us $20, and then, like, so it's
okay. That is annoying. But then my brain's like, it's only $120 for one of those. Like, oh no, I'll just get another one in like 3 months.
Yeah, and it's one of those.
Shit,
things.
I have to use my non-vibrating butt plug now.
My very normal butt plug.
Shit.
And so, like, you could and technically you could reverse engineer it to where it would, I guess, not blow up, but they have...
I'm assuming you could make it to where you overcharge...
You can overheat it.
Yeah,
overheating is the biggest thing, because a lot of biggest thing in electronics...
I imagine that's easy as hell to overheat a butt plug and just cook your asshole, kind of.
There's a couple of security things in there that prevent, just circuitry-wise, just like like actively designing circuits in a way that makes them more safe, especially for something that goes inside your body. There's a lot of rules and regulations that have to go through that, but you can still exploit it. Like, anything could be exploited.
People think that their smart cars are safe. They are not.
Smart cars are not safe.
It's so easy to take control of one.
Which is so funny.
So are smart homes. It's nothing. Like, even just a regular lock, I can pick almost any fucking lock in under 5 seconds.
Okay. let's not get overzealous with ourselves.
Any
been in
master
lock-picking.
lock I can get in 5 seconds
those are
without
easy.
a shim.
I was about to say a shim, easy, baby.
Yeah, shim I can do it in like 4 seconds. It's just you.
Yeah,
Ow.
have you ever done it with the 2 wrenches where you can snap it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Well,
that.
I got to the point to where I could pick lock the dorm room doors, and those are supposed to be unpickable.
Those are, okay, listen, I was
They
about
have
to
a
say,
thing where it'll turn if you don't get it correctly, but I got to the point to where I could do it.
I was about to say, oh no, they don't have those. And then I remember I stayed in the cheapest, shittiest dorm on campus at the university. What?
Buck truck?
No, that was at time the girls only. I was in Glad Rip.
Okay.
That's in Ripley.
That's what I meant, is
Awful
those two.
fucking garbage. My window was broken for half of the winter. I was doing
they're offices now.
Yeah, I was doing. Are they?
Yeah, they're being torn down
Good.
like next year.
Fuck those places.
Yeah, they have a dohi. Like, they have too many rooms now with the dohi.
I was doing. Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
But I was doing repairs out of my dorm room, which I try not to do repairs much anymore because I think it costs too much for people to get shit repaired. I'm not perfect at repairing stuff. I've gotten a lot better over the years. But
so you're saying you're going to repair my butt plug for me?
Absolutely. I'll inject some malware into it.
Well, I just need you to repair it while I'm wearing it.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, I won't. All the wires that are in there, they won't cross.
Well, okay, so back to the hacking sex toys thing. Because Lovin's has a whole line of sex toys and whatnot. And, like, yeah, the most widely known is the Lush, which is the pink thing that goes into a vagina and it has the little tail sticking out. I imagine that one's pretty easy, but I'm not too worried about that. Me being a dude, I'm worried about the fact that they have a male masturbator that...
Is it like a?
It's a fleshlight.
I was about to say, is it like a Ona hole, like a fleshlight kind of thing?
It's a smart fleshlight, and it has different vibrating.
That doesn't sound
senses.
discreet though.
It's not like it's not, but it's like in your own time you're doing it, or if you're on like Chatterbait or something. But I'm just imagining when you told me this, someone gets control of that and puts the grip in there too tight on one of the spots. I can't pull my penis out.
That's very true, and
that's
I mean
scary.
at the same time, there are a lot of whenever people design this stuff, scary. And a lot of people design this stuff, and they keep a lot of that in mind, like worst case scenarios. And for the most part, you're usually fine. Like if there's any there's usually not any like malware that does anything physical. Generally, it's like ransomware or something that like
you get that one butt plug where they accidentally hack it and just spikes shoot out because they made it wrong or something.
Well, with the Lovin's butt plug, I think you can technically inject different code in there that does like reverse Bluetooth stuff. I don't think you can propagate too much because I think the chipset that it uses is like the NFS 51822 or something. NF5. Anyways.
Yes, I know what that means.
But that one it only has like 256 kilobytes.
Now
of
here's
memory.
what I'm imagining to be the worst thing you could do with one of those is you manage to hack it, and because it's connected to someone's phone, you can get it to where it pulls up a ransomware where it just plays Rick Astley for fucking hours on end until you pay them $300.
So that's what I was gonna say. So you can it has 256 kilobytes of flash memory on the thing, so you can put like a decent amount of stuff in there, and anything that already trusts that Bluetooth connection from the butt plug the Bluetooth butt plug hasn't been altered, like the Bluetooth, all that stuff that's like the identification to the phone hasn't changed, so you can easily connect there. So it's one of those weird fringe cases, but definitely possible.
Just imagine how, I would just be so pissed if I was just in the middle of climaxing with a butt plug in, and the next thing you know, there's a screen pops up on my phone that's just Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, and it's like, haha, you came, now it's time to come
Rick
give us some
Astley's
money.
Never Gonna Get You Off.
Yeah, I would be pissed.
Yeah, and so another thing that I've actually done in the past, I had a client that I fucked. We didn't fuck. Back whenever I went to a convention 4 or 5 years ago, and I won't give any names, of course, because I don't really remember it. But he had a company, and he was a rich dude, and super like daddy dom type, which again I can enthuse to a decent extent, but once you get past like the theatrical things, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna call you daddy every day. But maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But anyway, so this dude, he wanted to...
I would definitely call a girl mommy if she wanted me to.
Listen, everyone has their thing.
And daddy if they wanted me to. I don't care. Daddy's a gender neutral term.
Daddy's a gender neutral. So, anyway, so he wanted to commission me for a remote Bluetooth-controlled chastity cage.
Oh, no.
So that he could have, like...
I get it. Like everyone's got their own kink, but...
So he could have his subs
Yeah.
over the internet, either, like, you pay to unlock it or you pay to have it on or something, which, honestly, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It was a decently lucrative idea. I think someone else had something out at the time, which was the exact same thing, so I'm not busting IPs or anything, and I'm very good with keeping my NDAs where they lie. But, like, he also didn't want to pay me, like, to, like, build a prototype, which, I mean, going into electronics and circuitry and, like, all this other stuff, especially because I'm a fucking one-stop maker shop. Like, I go from idea to production.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do. So I do it all myself, and he wouldn't give me any money for, like, fronting it to, like, for any of the, like, components or anything, and I was like, no, this ain't that.
That's why you charge them on the back end for it. It was like, oh, damn.
The back
It
end.
sounds like it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
To get the product then.
Which, and he ended up being a shithead anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those things where it's like, are you not talking to me because you have depression? Like, okay, bud, yes, I do have depression, but let's not...
Settle down, Quito.
Yeah, like, anyway, so that was one of the things that I did in the past, which I'm glad I never took up on, because he was very particular about how he wanted it designed. I can do it, it's fine. Like, I had some Bluetooth modules upstairs. I
So
have
with
some,
those
like,
chastity
blocks.
things, are they, like, made of metal?
He wanted it to be made out of wood, which I was like, not great, because you have to shower with those things. So you have to make, so, like, there's a lot of things that
I'm
you
just
have
trying to think
take
of how
into
you do it
safety aspect.
breathably.
That's...
How are you going to wear clothes?
I mean, people wear those metal chastity cages on, so as long as there's, like, a decent amount of breathability, it's fine. It is supposed to be uncomfortable. Like, that's part of the thing, is that you always know it's there and it's always uncomfortable to a decent extent. And obviously people gain pleasure from it, or they don't, and that's their thing. But it's supposed to be noticeable by the wearer.
Okay.
At least to my knowledge. But, because, like, you can't get hard, you can't, like, piss properly, like, it's difficult
I'm
to
just
clean.
not here for it. But I get it for people.
I get it. I wouldn't be against trying it out at one point, but it's
Oh, you'll never get me in one of those.
It's
ever.
Like I said, I'm not against.
I like to be
a
able
lot
to
of
pee
things.
freely.
That's honestly. So whenever you
If someone's trying to fight me, I would like to be able to pee on them.
I would like to be able just to not a switchblade. It's my piss.
Well, you know, piss blade.
Piss blade. Piss on your switchblade. Do you want an infection? I'll cut you. So, like, when people design
Pee's
stuff,
sterile. That's not going to give you an infection.
pee is not completely sterile.
It's sterile.
I feel like that's like one of those fake truths that they tell you when they're like, oh, your dog can lick you and it's cleaner than a human's mouth. No, my dog licks his ass. I don't believe you. And you know what? That's not true. But whenever people do a lot of designs, especially when it has to do with, like, because I've done medical patents in the past, there's a lot of, like, things that you have to adhere to. And so there is a lot of safety stuff in place, but you have to think about, like, what's going to happen for, like, the heat that dissipates off the electronics. How am I going to make this fucking thing waterproof so that you can wear it in the shower? Or sweat. Sweat is another fucking thing that sucks, too. And there's just a lot of things that you have to keep in mind to make it not a bad product.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, like, because I'm just imagining where you would, because, like, it's not like you could just make it non-noticeable, the electronics part of it.
You can hide it decently well in like a case, like if you like, I don't know, you could hide it away really.
Yeah.
But it's clunky. It's going to be clunky because the biggest thing
There's
is
no way to make it like flat or that kind of situation.
My personal hate with every electronics project is the power source, like doing batteries. Batteries are always going to be either really big or clunky or hot or not enough, and it's a pain.
Yeah. You know, like, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say on that because, like, I'm not in your boat. I don't build stuff like that. I don't know too well. I can build you a house and I can wire it electrically, but outside of that, I couldn't make a chastity belt if I really wanted to. I could not.
I'm just honestly surprised I haven't made more sex electronics. I think I've only made a couple, and they were very mild.
Yeah.
But like they weren't anything ever crazy. I actually have people that I follow who are makers in the tech community.
Yeah.
And I fucking love the shit out of them. There's 3 people in particular who I would bring up, which is my friend Emily Velasco. She lives in California. Her tag is like MLE_online. One of her friends, and I don't know if she lives in Callie either, but her name is Sarah Petkus, and I think her tag is Spetku, Spektu. And then the last person that I was going to talk about was Naomi Wu. If you ever seen her, Sexy Cyborg.
No.
I live for that woman. She is one of my favorite people to ever see any content produced by.
Yeah.
But like going down the list, so my friend Emily, she always deals with a lot of like old like tech and really cool. I don't know how to explain it. Like just like she recently did like an audio decoder for like optical tape. Like she's incredibly smart. And as all these people on the fucking list are.
Well,
but,
yeah. You'll have generally a degree in engineering of some sort. That's
No, not all of us. I actually don't know if most of these people do. And honestly, degree in engineering is bullshit. I've learned nothing. I mean, I've learned like basic statics and dynamics through engineering, mechanical engineering. But all my electrical engineering stuff, unfortunately, that's where I'm the most savvy. I don't have a degree from. I've just been doing it for a decade.
Yeah.
Because I think I started in robotics whenever I was 15.
See, like,
or 14.
I know a lot about theater, photography, and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to trying to make electronics or how to do that, like, I can wire a stereo system in my car, but outside of that, I don't know shit about it.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions with electricity and electronics, and electronics are not hard, but I think they always try and make it
Seem like a bigger deal than it is.
Seem like a bigger deal than it is. And I mean, for the most part, whenever you're doing real-life applications for electronics, you could kind of fudge a lot of stuff, which is what I do. But going back to my friend Emily, she made like a resin cast bone dildo. So she made a clear dildo with like human finger bones that were in it. It's so good. I'll show you a picture. And she also did like some weird. She did a talk actually. I think it was a year ago, which was on why you should just make ugly, weird, and annoying things. And I live by that. I think that's very important because I think too often people get caught up in trying to make very pretty, precise, and I don't know. It's a weird thing, especially within the maker community, because some people are like either really pretentious or they're like things have to be either a certain way. And
yeah, like if this isn't perfectly made, then why are you trying to make it?
Mm-hmm. And so so she has a bunch of great stuff. Sarah Petkus, she built recently. She has I think there was like a whole outfit planned, but she made one. It was a hickey giving device. So you wear it around your neck, and it has these like weird silicone suction things that give you hickeys.
Interesting.
And then, which was really cool. And then there was another thing that she did, which was she had like a brassiere that had like the cups on it and had the pinwheels in front of it.
So it flicks your nipples?
On the inside of the brassiere were like little pom-poms that went around the areola. So like whenever the pinwheels spinned on the front, they just like did a little bit of a nipple action.
I would buy that.
I think, and just like, it's stuff like that people would be like, wow,
wait,
that's
so it's like a pinwheel on the outside when it turns on the inside. Yeah. It does. Dude, that would be great for living in Chicago or somewhere.
The windy city.
Where it's just fucking windy all the time. I mean,
a little nipply out here, isn't it?
Well, it's more now because it's just like there's a light breeze and it's like, yeah, my tits are telling me so, and it's just like, and then, just fucking,
Exactly. And so, that kind of, I'm a huge purveyor into weird shit. I love weird shit. I'm not a very conventional person, as anyone who knows me knows, but I think that there's a lot of things that shine in the abnormal that we don't get to see with a lot of things. And so I think if something, especially if something's weird or is uncomfortable, I think the exposure to those things is incredibly important.
I get that a lot because I'm both of those. Mm-hmm. I'm the person that brings that out in people. It's like you're gonna have to get used to it because I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
People like me are things.
I've learned to be uncomfortable a long time ago, and honestly, I think that being uncomfortable is the best thing that you can do. It's
to an extent. There's a difference between bad uncomfortability and you know like, damn, I really don't like how warm it is outside right now.
Yeah, they link it into like a circle, like a concentric rings, where it's like in the center is your comfortable zone, in the outside is the uncomfortable zone that you grow in, and then there's the outside of that, which is the uncomfortable zone that you don't grow in. So you have to kind of find a good medium. But the last one that I talk about, and of course they're all women, because women in STEM and tech and shit like that, women and gender nonconforming people love that shit. Non-binary people in tech fuck me up. because I personally believe in a lot of diversity in tech, because it's so white male dominated, which people think like, oh, well, it should be a matter of like your character, not of your like race or anything, which I understand that, but there's a lot of things that like algorithmically are coded to like white leaning people, like facial recognition algorithms that it can identify white people to a T, but anyone outside that ethnicity, it's not. And when people like, which obviously fuck ICE and ACAB for sure, but like when either like cops or Homeland Security or ICE or anyone, they use some of those facial recognition stuff and they get false positives. These are
You're fucking people up.
These are technical things that absolutely have an impact on people, and it's based in diversity. Like, you have to have a diverse group of people, because if you like, there's a lot of lived experiences that I will never know.
Yeah,
and I can't like supplement it, so I have to just kind of defer to someone else who's lived that.
That's my thing with it, is like, you can the argument for them having the experience or having to have the experience is a legitimate thing. But so many people have the experience out there that aren't just Dave from down the block, who's, 35, white, never had to struggle, middle class growing or upper class growing. Like, there's so many more people out there that really enjoy the shit, but just haven't had the ability to show their talent or actually put themselves in the field because they're not.
I'm not going to personally blame people who grew up in that, because no, you can't control where you grow up.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of dissonance in how like the education system teaches people about like even American history or how things function in the world versus how it actually functions.
Yeah.
And so it's like some people are raised in that kind of bubble where they think like, oh, well, they shouldn't get a scholarship because of their skin color, because I don't get one. It's like there's a lot more to it than you might think. But to go back on the topic of the last maker on my list, which was Naomi Wu, incredible. She goes by Sexy Cyborg. She was most notably known by her tits. Yes. So she.
I'm assuming they've been altered.
Breast implants, yes.
Okay.
And how she deals with this is immaculate, because she's like, I don't want to be. She's like, I understand that people will sexualize me for my body, but like, I don't do it for other people. I do it for me. So she loves that kind of like high femme, and she's queer. She lives in Shenzhen, which is in Guangdong in China, around there. It's mainland, I think, but huge tech capital, and she was outed by some shitty fucking news company that outed her as a lesbian.
Yeah.
And she had like a husband and everything, which she calls her hench husband, which I think is fucking hilarious. So she's like a very open queer woman in tech, and she has like these breast augmentations, and at one point she did a video on fiber optics into her tits that would make them glow.
Oh, that'd be dope.
So it was basically like flashlights on the bottom of it because of the material like whatever kind of silicate material that was inside her for her breast implants. They diffracted light, so you could have them glowing, and that kind of like it's almost like a reclaiming your body, especially when it comes to femininity, because femininity is so heavily cursed upon, and people are like, oh, you're only being sexy for likes, you only have your tits because you want someone to like.
It's like, no, bitch, I put glow sticks in these fuckers because I can.
It's exactly that. It's like I deserve agency over my body to do whatever the fuck I want. Am I hurting anyone? No. And if it's something you genuinely enjoy, do it. Who cares?
Well, so to get into terms of like cyborging yourself, then.
Oh, big fan of that.
Like, the idea interests me, but it also heavily scares me because, like, in terms of thinking about, like, you're still a person for sure, but you're opening yourself up to it. Like, later on down the road, you're opening up to the idea of, malware or cyber attacks on your actual person. And I'm just imagining how fucked up it would be if someone had, like, a brain implant and someone was good at hacking, you just shut them off.
I mean, maybe, but what do you think pacemakers?
I know.
So it's one of those things where it's...
I'm definitely open for the idea. I don't think I could anyway, because I'm not good with medical shit in the first place. It scares the fuck out of me. But if I could get a penis
that did like the retracto dong thing, I think that'd be funny as hell.
It has to make the forklift noises.
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
Or if I could make a thing with like my fingers to where they become noodly at some point.
God.
I think that'd be great.
Just replace all the bones in your fingers with tubes that you can go limp.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that comes from the fear, uncertainty, and the other thing, the FUD. I can't remember what it is.
Like my biggest thing is the losing your humanity at point, because I know there's gonna be people at some point that go all the fucking way.
Well, I mean, you still have to, and I mean, there's a lot of things that where I believe that technology and like. What's the word? Starts with a P. It's about your brain or philosophy. That one. So cybernetics and philosophy do have a lot of overlay. As philosophy has a huge part in everything we do, of course.
Yeah.
And you'd be an idiot to believe otherwise. And I'm fully on that stand. But you also have to think about how we perceive ourselves regularly, not even in the realm of cybernetics, but like how much of you are you your body, where do you live? So like where is it, are you just the meat impulses, are you outside of your body, are you like, there's a lot of different ways that you can deal with that. And so I feel like I'm not super worried about that aspect coming into play any more than it already does.
Yeah.
With doing cybernetic stuff, which obviously a huge fan of. One of the things that I think everyone's super scared of is getting like chipped, like an RFID chip. I want one so bad. I don't want one so bad.
I've seen people with it, and it sounds really cool. Like I love the idea. Like I don't like the idea of putting one in me because I freak out.
Absolutely.
But being able to securely like do a home lock system, being able to just this is me, that would be cool. But I don't want to be able to give people the easy ability to fully track wherever the fuck I am. I know that you're gonna make the thing with I have my phone on me and whatnot, and
I always say that, but
I get that.
Well,
but like I feel like because like there was this thing like 2 years ago about this corporation wanting to microchip its employees so that they could see what they were doing, and I was just like, that's too much control for a corporation to have over someone.
So, and I think what the biggest distinction is when people talk about getting microchipped, RFIDs are really the only big thing that people get chipped in them. There's no amount of like, you can't have the power, the thermal cooling and everything like that to like really do something like crazy into micro like processors that sends a signal out years away. Like a lot of it's just very close proximity, low power.
Yeah.
A lot of these are like they're passive chips. They don't have any kind of electricity, like they don't have any battery in them. They passively do induction. So like, let's say you have a chip in your left hand. It's usually right between your what is it, the pointer finger and the thumb. Like
it's in that little webbing part.
Yeah, and so you'll put it in there, and it doesn't activate unless you pass over something that's going to induce a current in it. So there's no battery in it, and it doesn't actually like give any data until it's near something that can passively turn it on. And it's a very close, very close proximity thing. It's not something that people can track you on. It's not something like the technology isn't there to do like a small enough chip that's like can attach to your Wi-Fi and automatically configure like you're working on like small power, because everything.
There's this couple that has it, and they're on TikTok, and they're like, this is why it's such a good idea, because they'll show you all the things they have in their home. Their fucking liquor cabinet is RFID, so their kids can't get into it.
That's so needless, but I like it. I always...
Just the ideas for that is cool. Or, like, you can... Like, they also have a thing where you can... They'll put it on their Alexa in their room, and depending on the person, it'll change to their preferred... settings for the room, so like the lights or like the temperature and what channel comes on the TV immediately.
I could definitely see that being important if you had two people living. If it's just you, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
but like that's definitely kind of neat.
Well, because like in terms of RFID, this one's not really on a person. I saw this one where it was their phone, like it was like a popple thing. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like an RFID thing you put on the back of your phone, and then you put it on other stuff in the house. So like they had it on their Star Wars posters and whatnot. And when you're close to it, it clicks it, and it goes through all the like sequences it has in it. So they had it on like Disney stuff. So like they would put it on their Star Wars poster. The lights would go red, and it would start the Empire Strikes Back theme. Or the March of the Empire or whatever. Or they would go to Moana, and it would like go like a sea blue and start playing Maui or whatever. They would do stuff like that, and it was really cool like that.
Yeah, I think that's neat.
And those things I'm totally interested in. It's just the idea of having it in my body.
Yeah, that I could definitely understand being a big fucking issue. And the other thing is that there's like no really recorded cases of them breaking inside.
So I'm not worried about that. It's just the putting it in there part I'm scared of.
And honestly, if you would have to be worried in the case of like having RFID readers around your house that do different like triggers based on whatever IoT Internet of Things thing that you have set up, that's more of like a home network security issue than it even is like an RFID thing.
Yeah.
Because then you could just have anything that would be on your network, and that's where the vulnerability lies, not inherently in the RFID chip.
I'm just thinking in like long-term ideas for it, like an RFID thing. Like say people start getting it pretty evenly. At some point, it's going to be to where you can hold your RFID chip up to your phone, and it just brings up your kinks to somebody. Like, it just tells you all the information you need them to know. Like, you could be like, so STIs, or I'm like, I don't have any.
Yeah, it's like
it
gives all of your like STI, STD statuses. Last time you got tested, I fuck with that.
It tells you like how many people you've slept with recently, but not like it didn't necessarily who they are, because that'd be kind of shitty. Yeah, this dude has a piss kink, and he'd be like, I'm just gonna walk this way, or something. I don't know. I think that'd be really, like, maybe for like a brothel situation, that would be really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially, and I wish that there was more technology, or there were more people open to talking about sex and technology in the same realm, because I believe that you can heavily incorporate one into the other. But like when it comes to that, like I think that would be a great fucking idea. I mean, the idea of like, oh, you have to get chipped for a job is not super, but also, I mean, who knows where we are in the future.
Yeah. You've seen what happened with this year. We'll see what happens the next 10.
Yeah. Oh, you give us 10 years? 10 years? Mm.
I would like to make it to 2030.
Listen. 2020 is not starting off strong. The 2020s, the roaring 20s.
Okay, I was going to say, we're at the end of it, sir. I don't know what...
It's
I don't know what you're talking about starting off. But yeah, no, the decade of 2020s is... Ooh.
She's a rough one.
As long as I get laid at the end, I don't care. Yeah, that sounds like a solid place to end that section of the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking and electronics? That's my zone.
This was a fun one to talk about. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to finish off saying for the listeners out there?
I mean, I definitely, I'll plug my Twitter. It's at CapBlasphemy, CapBlasphemy.
Yeah.
And I pretty much universally across that. I'm on Twitch, not frequently. I'm actually working on a video right now, which I won't give too much of a spoiler because I'm very excited, but it's going to be like a idea to production of how I make things, but I want to do kind of like a video series. I'll see how it goes, see if I enjoy it, because I'm really just dipping my foot in a bunch of different waters, my toes into a bunch of different mouths, so to speak.
Yeah.
And just trying to see, we always have, but just trying to see what fits for me. So I might put out a video on a very neat project that I'm working on and how I went from idea to actually finishing it. And you saw a little bit of it upstairs with that rotary coupler, but I mean, that's it. I'm Cat Blasphemy on pretty much everything.
Alrighty, guys, you heard it here. This is my friend Ramsey. Go give them a listen to on their video. If
whatever, honestly,
just go enjoy.
You can follow me on Twitter. I shit post. I'm a huge leftist. I shit post. I don't put things of content. I complain about a lot of stuff.
Fair. That's what Twitter's for. That important.
Yeah, listen. Tumblr gave up on us. We had to switch to a new platform.
That or Reddit, but same thing.
Okay, I'm a civilized person. Go on.
Oh, so you use 4chan. Okay, that's enough. You heard it here from us. That's another episode of A Sex Talk. See y'all next time.